Hey, I'm Dan Owolabi. I am the co-founder and CEO of Branches. It's an international consulting firm that helps CEOs, executives, and owners build businesses that are designed to benefit their communities. I am the author of Authentic Leadership, and I am a doctoral candidate in global leadership. And today, I'm answering your questions on leadership.
You have to sacrifice your personal life to be a great leader.
That's false. That's unbelievably false. Yeah.
The most respected leaders are the ones who never show emotion.
Yeah, that's false. Showing emotion is really helpful, especially when it's tied to empathy.
You're not ready to lead until you have your own life together.
Ooh. Oh man. Well, whoever has their whole life together, gosh, dang it. Um, I'm gonna say that is true. You've got to have a large portion of your life together in order to lead. You've got to be able to put yourself in a position where you're leading yourself first before you lead other people. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say that's true.
If people are talking about you behind your back, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, that's false. That's false. People are going to talk about you when you're doing something excellent, when you're doing something extraordinary, when you're doing something unusually great. They'll find a way to talk about you behind your back.
Good leaders always know the next move.
That is false. Yeah, that is false. Typically, especially you're growing very quickly, you don't know the next move.
Some people are just not cut out to lead, and they should accept that.
Oh man. Yes. I think that's true. I think some people just do not have the temperament, and they will hurt people because they're trying to do something that they're not good at, nor are they equipped to do. Yeah, I think so.
Asking for help as a leader makes people lose confidence in you.
Oh, that's false. That's false. There's a great quote from Benjamin Franklin that says the best way to make friends is by asking for people's advice. Yeah, asking for advice is one of the best ways to gain influence with people.
Being a leader means you can no longer be friends with the people you lead.
I'm gonna say that's true, but with caveats. Like you can still be friends with people, but there are clear boundaries now. There's doors that people just can't open, whereas before they could walk into your house and open every door. Now there's doors that are just shut that they cannot open. So you can be friends, but not the same kind of friends.
You should never let your team see you doubt yourself.
No, I think that's okay. I think that especially if you have a good team, if you have a good team with a lot of sort of rapport, then you can show doubt. Definitely. There's moments for real conviction, but there's also moments for doubt. Yeah. Good question. I love this.
ChatGPT gives good leadership advice.
Yeah, that's false. ChatGPT does not give good leadership advice because it does not know your context. It doesn't know the people that you're dealing with, and you might be able to put some information in that kind of describes the situation, but man, it doesn't know the full situation. It's not you. Yeah.
Leaders are born, not made.
No, that is false. Leaders are built. Yeah, and if you're a leader that's born, then you're not reaching your full potential. You've got to build something real over time. Yeah.
Confidence is the most important quality in a leader.
False. False. Honesty. Honesty is the foundational quality. If you can't be honest, you can't lead.
Nice leaders finish last.
Yes, I would say that. I would say yes. Kind leaders are great. Nice leaders wanting to be liked, I would say that it's all going to fall apart on you. Yeah.
The best leaders work harder than everyone else on the team.
I'm gonna give you a hot take, and I'm gonna say that's false. The best leaders are the ones that empower people to do what they're designed to do. They're not out there slinging it. They know how to adjust and how to create the environment where people can grow. They're not out there, just Yeah, they don't have to be the hardest worker in order to be the most effective leader.
How do you build confidence as a leader when your track record is still short?
Mm, mm. The fastest way to build confidence as a leader is to do hard things, is to take on challenges that you've never done before and commit to the process of learning and becoming along the way. It's not about achieving a particular goal. It's about becoming a certain type of person as you're achieving the goal. And doing the hard thing, that will help you build confidence.
How do you lead without losing yourself in the process?
Hmm. Yeah, one of the best ways to do that is to surround yourself with people who really kind of get who you are. You have a small inner circle. Jesus was a great example of that, having a group of 3 and then having a group of 12. Um, that's one of the best ways to do that. Another way is to kind of maintain perspective, not just through people, but just through the idea that you're stewarding a position. Like you are not necessarily the end all be all. You're just holding a position and serving people for a limited amount of time. And at some point, someone else is going to sit in your desk. Someone else is going to have your position. And so you keep that perspective without getting too prideful.
How do you lead through a season where you've lost your own motivation?
Mhm. Yeah. So one of the best things that I've seen when you lose your own motivation is you've got to get close to the action. If you're a leader, you've got to remember why you started. And so you've got to find a way to get close to the people who really inspire you. If you're a teacher, you got to get around more students. If you're leading in the C-suite, you've got to get closer to the floor. You got to get closer to your customers. You got to get closer to your product itself, and just remember why you got into this in the first place. One thing that you don't do is you don't go tell your team that you've lost your motivation. Part of your responsibility as a leader is to serve them, and that does not serve them by telling them, "Hey, I'm not in it anymore, guys. Can you help me?" So it's getting closer to the action, getting closer to the floor.
How do you earn respect from people who already had a bad leader before you?
Oh man, that's the story of a lot of leaders, isn't it? Yeah. Uh, Two things. Number one, authenticity, being who you are and just being open. That's one big thing, being as open and transparent as you possibly can, not in a weird way, but just like genuinely authentic and relational. That's the first one. The second one is consistency. If you are the same person and you do exactly what you'll say you do when you'll do it, you will build trust. People will begin to slowly put their trust back in you. You don't do it by bad mouthing the last leader or talking about how you're going to be different. You do it specifically by being consistent over time. And for a lot of people, that's enough.
How do you lead people who are older than you and don't respect you?
Yeah. How do you lead people who are older than you and do not respect you? Number one thing that you can do is serve. Every single person who is older than you has a problem that they cannot solve. And if you can step in and you can find a way to close that gap, if you can find a way to bring a solution, immediately they will respect you. If you can give them something that they cannot get on their own, if you find a way to introduce them to someone or you find a way to make their life easier or something like that, people will begin to give you a sense of trust and a sense of rapport in the organization. But it starts with you serving them.
What do you do when your team stops believing in the vision?
Oh, well, that's when you got to be inspirational. That's when you have to find a way to motivate them with the original vision. That means you have to find a way to illustrate the story, help them see the pain point, help them see the problem that they're solving, help them see what they're actually doing that's making a difference, getting them closer to the action. So putting them closer to the customer, putting them closer to the actual product that you're developing, something that gives them a sense that says, okay, this is why we're in that. Oftentimes people get disheartened because they forget why they're doing this in the first place. They forget their why. Your job is to bring the why from wherever it is in the organization as close to their eyes as you possibly can, as often as you can.
Is it possible to be an introvert and a great leader?
Absolutely. Yeah. Introverts oftentimes make great leaders. They're fantastic listeners. They're the last ones to speak. They're ones who are great at observing the group and understanding group dynamics. Yeah, introverts are great leaders.
What's the difference between a leader people follow out of fear versus respect? And how do you know which one you are?
Hmm. One easy way to tell that you are a leader who is leading out of respect and not out of fear is when people actually start mimicking your behavior. Not the ones that you mandate, but just your natural mannerisms. They start to talk like you. They might even start to dress like you. They start to maybe sort of move the same way you move. When you're doing it out of fear, I mean, you definitely get compliance, but you don't get people copying you because they're like, behind the scenes, they're cussing you out. But in public, they're doing everything they need to do. So yeah, I would say when you start to see people actually mimicking your behavior, that's a good sign that they respect who you are and they want to model their life after yours.
When does confidence become arrogance? And how do you catch yourself?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think confidence becomes arrogance the moment you stop learning. I think it's the learning, it's the growing, it's the belief that you don't know everything, and the belief that the situation in front of you is not like the situation you just came out of. I think arrogance is like, well, that I've seen that before. I know exactly what to do, and I don't need to learn anything new. And there's nothing in front of me that I haven't already tackled. That's when you start to drift into overconfidence, and that's when you start to drift into arrogance. You can tell that right away when you start to think that you're the smartest person in the room. Uh, you start to get annoyed at other people because you think that you're carrying all the weight. You stop asking people questions out of curiosity and start becoming more judgmental. Those are all sort of signs that you're drifting into arrogance as opposed to just drifting into confidence.
Is ChatGPT an authentic leader?
No. I can give you a strong affirmation. No, ChatGPT is not. And if you're using ChatGPT for your leadership advice, it will steer you wrong because it will give you confidence that is undeserved. And you will walk into a situation and you will do something that is wrong and you will feel like it's right the whole time. It is not a good leader.
Most leadership content on the internet is just insecurity dressed up as advice.
100% true. That is very true. Yeah, it is like old repackaged stuff that, people try to say in order to make themselves sound smart and sound like a leader. I mean, goodness gracious. Yeah. Yeah.
The leadership industry has created more followers of leadership gurus than actual leaders.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I would say that's 100% true. I think it's so easy to read someone's book and so easy to take someone's course and say you're certified in whatever, as opposed to actually doing literally the hard, it is unbelievably hard work to navigate the uncertainty, the challenge of leadership and actually build something and build people. There's far more disciples of gurus than there are genuine leaders out there. Great thought.
Everybody wants to be called a leader. Nobody wants to do what leading actually costs.
I would say that's mostly true. There are people who are willing to do the hard work because they believe in whatever vision enough. But yeah, I mean, it is far sexier to be called a leader than it is to actually do the hard work of leadership. 100%.
Most people who call themselves visionaries are just people with no plan.
And a strong opinion. Yes. Very true. Very true. Yeah. And they hope that someone else comes around to execute it. Yeah, I would say that's true.
Not everyone deserves your loyalty just because they were there from the beginning.
Yes, that is true. There's some people that are on the team and they've been on the team because they happened to be around early on when the team was formed. And at some point along the way, they decided to stop growing. They decided to stop changing. They decided to stop getting better. And people tolerated that because they are an OG. They've been around for a long time. The job of a really good leader is to honestly to call the herd every now and then and say, hey, if you still don't believe in where we're headed and you're not demonstrating that by your ability to grow and change, then there's another vision that you need to chase. And it's not the one that we're chasing here. That's good. Yeah, I love that.
If your team needs constant motivation from you, you've already failed as a leader.
I think that's wrong. I think in very difficult times, or if you have a very young team, I think your job to motivate them is actually one of your primary jobs. Reminding them of who they are, what you're doing, where you're at, why you're chasing the particular goal. I think there are seasons where a leader's primary job is motivation. If that's what you always do forever, then yeah, you're not helping your people grow. But early on and for really hard seasons, yeah, I would say that's important.
The hardest person you will ever have to remove from your organization is somebody everybody likes.
Yes. Yes. It is easy to get rid of the guy or the lady that no one likes. Like everyone's like, hey, patting you on the back. But if you have somebody that is a detriment to the team in terms of productivity, in terms of the morale and in regards to where you're headed, but man, they're fun. They're always fun loving. They bring cookies to every board meeting. They bring cookies to every staff meeting. Then it's really, really hard to let that person go. But man, it's necessary.
Authenticity has become the new manipulation.
Mm.
People use "I'm just being real" to avoid accountability.
Mm. Oh, yes, that is true. That is true. And that is why I think it's important to say authenticity is different than being an authentic leader. An authentic leader is being yourself in the service of other people. It's not just being yourself, it's being yourself as you are trying to help other people. And so if you just being you is actually hurting the people around you, that's not authentic leadership. That's just you being a jerk.
In 10 years, AI will replace leaders.
No. That's not true. In 10 years, AI will not replace leaders. I think in 10 years, AI will replace a lot of leadership functions that we today would potentially consider leadership. But I think in general, I don't think that's the case. And I think that leaders are critical because people follow people. I think people mimic their lives after people. They don't mimic their lives after an AI chatbot.
Is Kim Jong-un a good leader?
Whew. Is Kim Jong-un a great leader? Gosh, the only way to tell a great leader is to look at their followers. If their followers are healthier, if their followers are better, if the followers are, they have stronger character, if they're better off than they were before you became a leader, then that's a really good sign that you're a good leader. And his people are emaciated. They're dying left and right. So I would say no.
Who's more influential? Donald Trump or John F. Kennedy?
Donald Trump. Donald Trump by far. There is no way. I cannot see it happening where in 100 years people are not talking about Donald Trump. What he has done is historic, and you can be somebody that does not agree with anything that he says and thinks he's a charlatan and all that stuff. But the fact that he has come back and won 2 elections and then started a massive war, and I mean everything that he's done is like, I mean, it's for the history books where we are watching history unfold in real time. John F. Kennedy was charismatic, but he had not even a full term, right? And the biggest thing that people know about him was that he was assassinated. So I think there's no question.
Is leading troops into war moral?
Oh, okay. This is a hot take, and this is pretty controversial. So I'm saying this out loud because I know that it'll hit the airwaves and it'll cause a little bit of a shock, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Jesus, who I follow, says, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. If you can love your enemies and lead troops into war at the same time, then I would say, absolutely. Go ahead and do it. If there's a contradiction in your mind on there, then I think the answer is pretty clear.
Is Donald Trump a good leader?
No.
Not fast.
Not at all. Not at all. I think the very first thing that you can see, and is he an effective influencer? 100%. I think the very first thing you can see, and this is a foundational element of leadership from my perspective, is a degree of selflessness. And I think the people who find themselves in his orbit and the people who stay in his orbit, they have to say that he is the smartest, the greatest, the best of all time. I think he can't help himself. And one of the things I think I love about Donald Trump, honestly, is that he's ridiculously authentic. Like he is who he is, who he is. He cannot help himself, but say exactly what he's thinking when he's thinking it. And so you know what you get, and that's what you get. But is he a good leader? No. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this video. I've had a lot of fun answering your questions and answering some of these really hot takes. I'm still sweating from how hot these takes have been. But if you want your comments in our next video, feel free to leave it down below. And I promise I read every single comment. And then if it's hot enough, honestly, it'll make it into the video. And I can't wait to address it directly.